touchbacks on 16 of his 18 kickoffs this year. And Elijah Jackson is back deep. He'll watch it land over his head and hit in the end zone. Well, they do roll and throw on the first snap of the game. Well, you have to like the first play, a pass of 13 yards to Morissette. Now an outside zone run, and Maccabee is hit at the 40-yard line. And there's a flag down. A pass is caught on what was officially 2nd and 7, and enough for the first down if the play stands on the completion to Max Clare.
And it won't.
2nd down.
Not a great start.
Especially after what happened last week, 165 penalty yards. And now a pass to Max Clare out of the left flat is dropped. Morissette went in motion. To the outside of the run. Maccabee over the 40-yard line and picks up a nice chunk of yards. 11 on the run, but leaving them well short of a first down because of the 3rd and long situation.
Still encouraging, though. Like they're getting yards, they're getting chunk yards. Obviously, the penalty is the single reason that drive stalled, but so far you're seeing some of the things that Simmons mentioned he wanted to implement, which is bigger personnel, bringing in more tight ends, bringing in extra bodies on the offensive line, and trying to simplify things for Hudson Card, their talented quarterback. Mississippi
State transfer Keelan Crimmins is the punter, over 45 yards this year. And needing to be sure-handed today, Tyrell Henry, and he catches it inside the 20-yard line. Starting Tawee Walker, and it's Locke, a deep ball. This starts at the 23-yard line. And looking for Vinny Anthony down the sideline. Locke on the roll, and opts just throw it into the turf.
Number 9 is in the area. It's 3rd down.
Ball's out from Locke. And it bounces off the intended receiver along the sideline, looking for Will Pauling. And the coverage provided by Kendrick Breedlove.
This passing game runs through Will Pauling. I mean, that's an accurate pass. That's something for Will Pauling, who's been the wide receiver 1 since he transferred here with Coach Fickle. He's been the go-to guy. And 3rd and 10, that's a plenty accurate pass from Braedyn Locke. Will Pauling has to find a way to come down with that. He had drops last week,
including a key one late in the first half of the game. Atticus Bertrams had a 74-yard punt in the first half last week in the loss to USC. And this one is fumbled. Thieneman is back on it. Dylan Thieneman, it bounces off his pads. He's back on it. Boilermakers do have the ball. And now here's Elijah Jackson, a player that Jason Simmons said they wanted to get on the field because of his big playability, and he runs the jet sweep for 8 yards on first down. Jackson now 4 carries this season, 91 yards, freshman from Indianapolis. And in the backfield, nowhere to go. Reggie Love on the run, and down he goes. John Pius made the play. It's a long 2 needed on 3rd down. Good pocket for Card. Incomplete, looking for Edrin. Fair catch. 43-yard punt. We haven't seen Dupree yet. We see the first carry for the transfer from Oklahoma, Tawee Walker, who cut the ball back, absorbed a hit, and got close to the first down.
You'll take it however you can get it, right? I mean, he's trying to run outside zone to the left. Purdue does a good job of getting things bottled up, but no one keeps contained on the backside, and it's a good job by Walker just feeling that and sensing that, coming all the way back around for a nice chunk 9-yard carry.
147 rushing yards for Walker this year. Will Helt brought him down after a 9-yard gain. First down, the first one of the game for the Badgers, as Walker easily picks up the needed yard. It's their first down in the last 11 snaps for both teams. Now to pass. And it's the first completion of the day. Tight end Tucker Ashcraft, his 3rd catch of the year, goes for about 5. Going with tempo and a flip to Walker. And Walker is stood up, 40-yard line. Joe Anderson, Will Helt, Cole Brevard among those who play it well on the outside. Phil Longo never had a quarterback in his previous stops as an OC with a completion percentage below 55%. Locke. Oh! Dangerous throw. There's Botros Alessandro for Manchester, New Hampshire. The coverage provided there by Alessandro. And now Thieneman looks up into the side and fumbles the punt again. He doesn't get it this time. The Badgers do. And here's a running play. And just like last week, they score on the first play after the fumbled punt was recovered. 12-yard run, Tommy Walker. Nathaniel Bakos hits the extra points. 7-0 lead. Running, Mockabee through a hole, broke one tackle, slung down around the 30-yard line. Another tight end. Ben Furtney is in the game right now in the backfield. With over 2,000 rushing yards in his Boilermakers career, Devin Mockabee has just added more to it. Enough for a first down on 2nd and 5, officially 7 when he's bumped out of bounds. Different formations, shifts in motion, all things that Jason Simmons brought up to us this week as wrinkles and changes that they can make. Well, he's had a chance to run the ball 3 straight times, but goes out of the game now. Merriweather in running back. Quick throw card. Pass is caught. Shamar Rigby at the 45-yard line. The last 3rd and 2 was a pass in a man-covered situation on the sideline that was incomplete. This is a run, and Darrell Peterson comes down the line to make the play for the Badgers. It's a 1-yard gain on 3rd and 2. Punt comes out. Henry looking for a fair catch for the 2nd time today. His drive starts at the 9-yard line. Tommy Walker, still the featured running back. And Walker plunges over the 10, gains 3. And not only the environment great, you couldn't ask for a better day up in the 70s. Another running play. The ball squirts out at the end. The play clearly indicated as down. Good pocket for Locke. And it's a breakup. Hauling the intended receiver. Flag. And a late flag. Breedlove had made the play. He'd already
Pass
made
interference,
one.
defense number 10, spot foul, automatic first down.
For the first time now, Darian Dupree is in the game, freshman. And you can see him running downhill, but they've gone the other way. And that's Riley Nowakowski. Now Dupree runs. There's a flag thrown in on Darian Dupree's first carry of the day, and it looks like it will negate it.
Hands in the face.
Personal foul, illegal hands to the face, defense number 0, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Here's the flip, off to the right side, Tretch Kokuhana.
No team likes penalties, but especially for a team like Purdue that's really trying to find themselves and figure out who they want to be. You know, football's hard enough when things go well, but they're beating themselves with the penalties.
And here's Locke throwing, and he makes a layered throw, finds an open receiver, running to the 10, and in, score, touchdown, Vinny Anthony.
Frustrating start to the game. They really need to put together a drive here.
Play fake to Reggie Love. And pressure's coming. Stepped away from Thomas. Card dead, but then he gets nailed. To the edge, Love. Big hit. And a punishing hit applied by Hunter Wohler. Purdue 0 for 3 today on third down. And it's a pass breakup. Oh, and nearly intercepted. A paw on the ball by Christian Allegro, one of the linebackers. And then it almost carried back to him for the pick. Dupree, his second series, he runs the ball. Runs the ball for 2 on what appears to be the final play of the first quarter here in Madison.
I was interested to see how Wisconsin was going to respond. A tough loss all the way out on the West Coast, traveling home. They've started fast today, Mark.
Tipped in the air, incomplete. Still the only FBS team in 2024 without a takeaway. 3rd and 7, and do they have a takeaway? Now they do! It is intercepted by QB Braedyn Locke.
A few weeks now where he struggled to catch the ball, and that time led to an interception.
Maccabee. This is good field position after the interception at the 45. It's a gain of 4 on first down. 57 total yards for Purdue, but they have a moment. Play fake, roll, turns down a pass to Furtney to throw it deeper, and Jamal Edrin is there along the sideline to catch it, and out of bounds at the 30-yard line. The Boilermakers' longest gain of the day, 15 yards. A toss to Maccabee, and upended by Jake Chaney in the backfield. It's a TFL. Card running out of real estate, but he finds Max Clare out of bounds. Short game. That may change the approach.
12 start, offense, number 77, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
3rd and 13, a long time to throw. Everybody covered as someone sprung open. No, incompletion. Chaney on coverage on a pass that was intended for Reggie Love.
Holding, defense, number 12, 10-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
Wow.
And now Purdue gets the benefit from a 3rd down penalty.
Max Lofi, who went out of last week's game, by the way.
There he is up in the top left of the screen, working on Max Clare, the tight end. And yep, there's an official that's looking right specifically at that area of the field. An easy call.
Lofi had back spasms about an hour before last week's game. Didn't play. Hard throws, turning it up the field, and out of bounds is Jerron Tibbs. First and goal at the 9. Maccabee for 3. From the 6, Maccabee in motion. Card, designed running play to the edge. And Jaheim Thomas and Preston Zachman stopping well short of the end zone around the 3-yard line.
That's Card down there below on the numbers.
Brown at quarterback, and he's running, and he pitches it on the option, and it's a poor pitch. Maccabee managed to catch it, the most important part of it, but then goes out of bounds at the line of scrimmage, forced out by Hunter Wohler.
I don't understand that play call.
From Brownsburg, Indiana, Spencer Plorath, 1 for 2 last week, made from 45, missed from 36, hits here from 21. Locke a long time, and it's complete. On 2nd down and 6 to Tyrell Henry, one of the receivers having to play right now because of the receiver situation. Remember that Bryson Green is questionable to come back, and Will Pauling limped off. Going tempo. That was for 12 yards to Henry. Will Heltz with the play on the run by Toby Walker. And Braedyn Locke with a pass breakup. 3rd and 6, and Locke avoids a rusher, and he throws the ball to Braedyn Locke. 2 interceptions today. After going into today's game as the only team in FBS without forcing a turnover, Braedyn Locke, who spent 2 years at Ole Miss, 1 year in Colorado, he's got a home now in West Lafayette with today's performance, doubling up on the interceptions. Card to Max Clare, and Clare's got a lot of space. It's a 1st down and more. Takes on a tackler and goes out of bounds. Now at the Badger 29. Card looking, throwing, end zone, batted down. Clare was the target, and it's Kamoy Latu who broke up the pass intended for Clare.
It was really nice coverage. Clare was just running a go ball here, and Hudson wanted to give his tight end a shot. You saw the stats there. He's one of the best tight ends in the conference, but he just lost his footing.
Still not in the red zone yet, but when they get in the red zone, have to think about the last drive of the 3rd and goal call.
That's the only play call I've had a problem with all day. Overall, I think Simmons has called a really good game here.
Bigger in motion on 2nd and 10. Card, pocket, wasn't a lot of space, so he runs, and inside the 25 to the 24. There has not been a 3rd down conversion for either team today. Officially 3rd and 6. Card retreating, looking, throwing. Mockabee caught it. 1st and goal inside the 5-yard line. A tight end lined up in the I formation. An extra big man as a tight end. Mockabee ran into the back of Corey Stewart, the left tackle.
If you get downhill now, less lateral.
The formation certainly looks much more conservative. Now Card, Lowry flushes him and throws it into the 1st row. Excellent catch was made in the 1st row.
It was almost like Wisconsin was waiting for that.
Third and goal at the 5. A lot of trouble for Card, and he airmails this one over the goalposts.
It's a great job avoiding that sack. A great job getting rid of that football.
Spencer Porath. It's an 8-point game now. Ben Freehill to kick off. Kahuna, makes a man miss. Caused 2 Purdue players to run into each other. And Kahuna with a big game. The man from Honolulu is bumped out at the 46-yard line by DeMarge Lewis.
That's
Timeout for an
Nyland
injured
Green.
player of the defense.
And Will Help, the edge, is laying down on the turf right now. That was Nyland Green's 1st game back last week, and the coaching staff has raved about him since he got here. Obviously, as a corner, you have to cover, but you can't replicate the tackling, right? He's missed, with the time, he missed all those opportunities and now took out his own teammate.
That was 21 yards by Kahuna. And now Kahuna catches another pass from Braedyn Locke, and the ball crosses midfield to the Boilermaker 47. Slight edge for Wisconsin in total yards. 8-point edge on the scoreboard. Toby Walker is wrestled down right at the 44-yard line. The line needed to gain. Kadron Jenkins on a tackle. Is it enough to move the chains?
Yes.
Last time 7 yards on 1st down, maybe thinking more this time. all day to throw it. Locke for the end zone. And Kekahuna out of bounds. Throwaway out of bounds. Riley Nowakowski was in motion on the last play before the 2-minute timeout. Dylan Thieneman a tackle. This is 3rd and 1. A big play out of the 2-minute timeout. And they will run the ball. Tommy Walker picks up the first down. 13 rushes, 61 yards. We talked about big plays. Luke Fickell and Phil Longo yesterday in the running game, but they are consistent. Walker uses his hand to brace himself to pick up maybe an extra yard. A gain of 4 down to the Boilermakers 28.
No disguise, it's one-on-one man-to-man.
Certainly in Vacos' field goal range now. And again, another play where Walker is using his hand to brace himself and pick up a little bit more yardage, and he's on the cusp of another first down.
Why do anything else other than give it to him again right here? Bringing in 2 tight ends.
Gone with Dupree now. Darian Dupree, the freshman. Wisconsin content to let the clock run down. They have 2 timeouts. Closing in on 30 seconds left. 3rd and short. Purdue 22. Dupree, first down. 26 seconds left.
Now you got to go. You either got to call timeout or you got to go.
Once the chain's set, the clock will start again after the first down. They do have 2 timeouts. They've wound the clock. It's moving.
What's going on here? They got to call a timeout.
Purdue gets to sub because Wisconsin subbed.
Wisconsin, their second of the half.
Do have 1 timeout left. It's first down at the 19. And a throw to the end zone. And a catch falling on the goal line for C.J. Williams. They mark him down inside the 1. So 12 seconds. The clock stops to move the chains. They've got to get up to the line. What will they do? Clock is running. Walker is running. Walker is scoring. They goes to make it a 15-point lead, and he does precisely that. There will be a return on the kick. Oh, and a big hit on Elijah Jackson and driven backwards. There are 3 seconds remaining in the half. The 4th reception of the year for C.J. Williams was an important one. 19 yards down to the 1-yard line. Walker goes in. Remember, Wisconsin won the toss and deferred. They will double up. They scored with 9 seconds left in the half and will receive the second half kickoff as they now have pushed their lead back from 14-6 to 21-6. The 2 interceptions for Purdue yielded only field goals, and then the Badgers with the drive that got very close, but ultimately led to the short touchdown run for Walker, his 2nd score of the day. And on the first play, it's a handoff. Time to throw for Locke. Markers down. Ball was heaved out of bounds on the 2nd play of the 3rd quarter.
Breedlove.
There are fouls by each team that will offset. Intentional grounding. Offense number 18. Holding. Defense. Replay 2nd down.
After all of that, a do-over on 2nd down and 9, and banging forward, Walker taken down by Thieneman at the 31. 3rd and 4. And a catch by C.J. Williams, a really important catch at the end of the first half, and an important 3rd down catch here. Running play for Walker. Flag is thrown in an area that you would not want to see from a Wisconsin perspective.
Will help.
Personal foul, illegal block below the waist, offense number 79. 15-yard penalty, still first down.
Will he make a throw here? Well, nicely done. Good throw, good catch. Trench Kekahuna at the 31. Remember that the illegal block pushed them back, so that 7-yard pickup leaves them at 2nd and 18. Kekahuna again, and Kekahuna's got room to run. I got a downfield block from C.J. Williams, and it is a house call for Trench Kekahuna. Wisconsin in front. That kickoff, by the way, goes out of bounds.
Free kick out of bounds, kicking team number 43. The ball will be placed at the 35-yard line, where it'll be first.
After a kickoff out of bounds, it starts at the 35. Hudson Card finds Jamal Edrin, and he wards off a tackle attempt, at least enough to get him over the 45 for a first down and gain of 11. A good time to remember the advice of John Wooden: be quick, but don't hurry.
Perfect advice.
Card keeps. Did he cross the line of scrimmage? Doesn't look like it. Threw it to Jerron Tibbs, and Tibbs down to the Badger 40.
Gonna get a penalty on Purdue.
Ineligible receiver downfield, offense number 77, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Muhammad Musa, the left guard. In that case, Card was not over the line of scrimmage. Very close, but not over. And here comes Thomas on the backside. Jaheim Thomas lowers the boom on Hudson Card back at the 34.
Completely unobstructed. I don't know if that's the left tackle. I don't know if that's the left guard. I don't know if that's the running back. But when you have Jaheim Thomas at 6'4", 245 pounds, coming downhill like a freight train on the blind side of your quarterback, someone's got to hit him. Otherwise, it's going to be a big hit. Jaheim Thomas will never have an easier sack than that.
History, of course, with Luke Fickell, 3 years at Cincinnati, and Mike Tressel as well. Last year, 90 tackles at Arkansas. Big sack there for the Badgers. Third down, Card under pressure. A lot of room to run. Second down, beg your pardon. And Card able to make something out of nothing. It's a pretty nice gain. That's an important gain. Up to the 47, 13 yards on the scramble. Third and 9, just nowhere to throw it. Running for his life, extending the play. He has really extended the play, and finally throws it out of bounds. And Hudson Card is doing everything possible.
13 is in the area. It's fourth down.
21 seconds of game time elapse on that play. Crimmins, rush on the punt. Barely got it away, and it does take a fortuitous bounce. Purdue at the 2-yard line. Now, after a partially tipped punt, it took a really good Boilermakers roll all the way down to the 2-yard line. Walker helps him establish more of a beachhead with the lunge out to the 5-yard line. Walker out to the 7. Officially out to the 8. Dupree is in, throwing for the end zone. Hit as he throws, and Locke to C.J. Williams for a first down. Darian Dupree. A run for the freshman from Chicago to the 17. He's flushed here. He'll make a throw. That's 6 straight completions for Braedyn Locke And C.J. Williams all the way up to the 45-yard line of the Badgers.
And that's just an excellent job by Locke the entire time, just staying patient in the pocket, rolling out just a little bit to give himself some space and finding C.J. Williams, who's become his favorite target.
And Dupree knifing into the backfield. Dylan Thieneman for the TFL.
False start, offense number 13. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Look at the defense. There's no safeties back at all.
7 in a row. Oh, and a spin move by Dupree. The ball came dangerously close to coming out. He goes down. Completed pass to Dupree.
That's C.J. Williams versus Nyland Green.
Dupree's out of the pattern. That's the way they throw. And he caught it, ball down to the ground on 3rd and 13 for Wisconsin to the freshman running back Dupree on the wheel route.
Man, what a throw, too. That was a dart into a tight window. He put it right in the stomach of Darian Dupree.
Going tempo after the 18-yard pass. And then a flag down, a deep ball. And there's another flag down. Nyland Green involved in the play on the pass intended for Quincy Burrows.
There are 2 fouls by the defense. Offside defense number 17, that penalty is declined. Pass interference, defense number 2, 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
Locke look left, goes right for the end zone, and it's Kakahuna doubling up on touchdowns today.
And they've earned the right to celebrate.
Defense number 10. The penalties declined. The result of the play was a touchdown.
And he's got 3 touchdown passes of 25+ yards today as Reggie Love runs the ball on 1st down for Purdue for 5. Card throws. Edrin can't hang on. Jamal Edrin back on the field today. 1 of 8 on 3rd down adds to the frustration. Allegro's coming. They picked him up. Jump ball for Jerron Tibbs. And a breakup by Xavier Lucas. Remember that Owen Arnett tipped the last punt by Keelan Crimmins. Big kick. And a fumble! Vinny Anthony quickly on it. Cade Yacomelli, his first carry. 10 in a row for Locke. Wow, Dylan Thieneman, a big hit. Yacomelli just got into the game, ran 1, caught 1 for 17. Dupree going downhill. 2-yard pickup. 11 in a row. Riley Nowakowski upended at the 45, officially 44. From Rockwall, Texas, Braedyn Locke. And a bullet throw, and Vinny Anthony sticks his foot in the ground and then zigzags through the defense for another 1st down. In terms of performance by Locke, but there's a big play in the running game. Hole for Dupree.
One-on-one coverage here with, take a look at that down at the bottom of the screen.
Pressure coming for Locke. And the streak of completions comes to an end. 12 straight. A drop, Anthony. string of scoring on the first drive of 3 straight games ended for Wisconsin today, but they've been scoring a bunch since. Tommy Walker, he may score again. Touchdown number 3 for number 3. Return it. Jackson brought down at the 15. Last play of the 3rd quarter. Devin Mockabee, a first down run. A lot to jump about for Wisconsin and their fans today, leading 42-6 going to the 4th quarter. I didn't lie, by the way. The press box really does shake. Underneath to Mockabee, and cut down in the open field by Xavier Lucas. The freshman makes another play. And it's been a fun day, especially the 3rd quarter. Heave for Hudson Card. A fun day for the Badgers, that is. A rough day for Purdue. Max Lofi with the pass breakup. There is a flag down on the play as Hudson Card was looking for Cam Brown.
Personal foul, illegal chop block, offense number 77 and number 45. The penalties decline. It's 4th down.
Bad punt, ball out of bounds. A lot to recap, including a triple header of games on the Big Ten Network today. And a pass is complete. Huge number today. Cade Yakimelli is down. Doesn't make it back to the line of scrimmage. Badgers came in averaging 337. They're 140 yards over that today. Good to see, by the way, Jeffrey Umbaugh back into the game. He made that tackle on Cade Yakimelli. Remember that Umbaugh went out of the game and late in the 3rd quarter.
Cole Brevard also back in there.
Third down and long, Yakimelli. Going for it on 4th down and 1. Yakimelli runs into a lineman, breaks free, touchdown! And now, that's the longest running play this year for Wisconsin, and it's still Cade Yakimelli, who had the longest running play of the year before today and still does.
There's no foul on the play. It's 1st and 10.
Hudson Card is out. Ryan Brown is in the game at quarterback. Jaheim Merriweather with a run for a first down. But the ball squirts out right at the end, and it is recovered by Wisconsin. The ball came out at the end of the play, and Braedyn Moore, a redshirt freshman from Hamilton, Ohio, with the recovery.
And when it rains, it pours, man. They finally get a big run for Purdue. You're thinking, okay, let's see if they can string something together here, but Merriweather, the freshman, ball security is priority number 1. And as soon as something good happens, you take it back. Turnover, Purdue.
Avery Matoyer from the Woodlands, Texas, outside of Houston, a freshman, has gone into the game.
And that division down there, absolutely loaded. District 13, 6A down in Texas.
And 6A is the biggest classification.
Yes, and they just crank out college players at a high level, NFL players at a high level.
And there's Matoyer's first completion. Dylan Jones with another run and ran out of the tackle. Jones still going. Fought off another tackle. Does he have enough oomph to get it to the goal line and in? No. But it is inside the 10 for a first first and goal for Wisconsin. By the way, Matoyer's first completion, just to tidy that up, went to number 87, Jackson McGowan. Another tight end got into the game as well. So McGowan caught a pass, then Jones had the long run for the Badgers. Lost just a little bit of ground on the first and goal run.
He's doing a good job with the snap count.
And Jones broke one tackle, but again stopped shy of the line of scrimmage. Every game is its own ecosystem, and the muffed punt obviously changed the vibe of the game. Matoyer escapes pressure on 3rd and goal, spins and runs and picks up yards, but obviously short of the end zone, bringing up a field goal opportunity.
Just to talk about Matoyer real quick. It's part of this larger theme of bringing in Coach Fickell to a successful Wisconsin program that had won a ton of games but wanted more. So Fickell comes in and says, we need to emphasize throwing the ball, which leads him to hiring Phil Longo, the air raid system. And now in year 2, you think about it, they relied on a transfer quarterback last year in Mordecai. This year they were relying once again on a transfer quarterback in Tyler Van Dyke.
Brown, the backup, got in on the last series, but Jaheim Merriweather fumbled. Brown is playing today in his 3rd game, played earlier this year against Indiana State, 1 game last year against Northwestern. Has some completions on his ledger before today. That was not his first way through to Bibber for 6 yards. Associated Press poll. Alabama, of course, after the win over Georgia, vaulted to 1.
An incomplete pass at 2nd down.
From the Big Ten, Ohio State 3, Oregon, they won last night. They're 6, and then you see Penn State, Michigan, USC, Indiana, Illinois, 7 teams ranked.
The play has been reviewed. The quarterback's knee was down at the 24-yard line, where it'll be 2nd down.
Glad we're all on the same page here.
Yes, so a very quick review done by the new state-of-the-art Big Ten Replay Center in Rosemont, Illinois. Now 2nd down and 22. Brown keeping it, stutter steps, and goes down out of bounds. Wisconsin will go to 3-2 once this is final, and keep in mind that they're on a streak of 22 straight winning seasons and 22 straight seasons that is going to a bowl game. Vinny Anthony hit hard twice on the punt return. Dylan Jones, another run. Rutgers, by the way, isn't far out of the top 25. They're way up there in teams receiving votes. And if you were to win a tough road game against Nebraska, they would certainly make a case for being ranked. Obviously, what happens in front
I
will
think they should be ranked. I thought Rutgers should have been ranked.
The nature of today's game did not give us much of a chance, Jake, to get into a lot of our conversation with Jason Simmons this week. It was a great conversation. You could tell how passionate he is about coaching and developing young men. He's been a very good high school football coach. He said, you know, we taught our children to run their own race. Brady Simmons wanted to walk on in Indiana. Brady said when he took the job earlier this year at Purdue, Dad, you taught us to run your own race, go be at Purdue, and there'll be a little rivalry later on this year, obviously, but I know he envisioned for more out of today, but what a great guy.
With players, this is going to be a really tough film session for Purdue. You know, I was always taught when you win, that's kind of when you after a big win, that's when you come in on Monday and your coach kind of rips into you a little bit to let you know, hey, you're not as good as you think you are. When you lose a tough one, sometimes that's the opportunity to love up on your guys. That's when they need it most.
Part of coaching is certainly knowing when you have to pat somebody on the back or kick them in the butt.
Yes.
They're not very far away from each other, but obviously quite different.
The psychology of football, man. The psychology of a season, the ups and downs.
Another run for Dylan Jones, and that run by Jones is the denouement of today's game.
Coach, 589 total yards on offense. What do you attest that success to?
Well, it's a combination of things. I think that coming out the second half is what I'm most proud of, to be honest with you. You know, we knew it was going to be a four-quarter game. That's what we tried to prepare ourselves for. We were in a situation last week. Hopefully we learned from it. We came out the second half and not only put more points on the board, but really controlled the line of scrimmage.
Braedyn Locke, what do you make of just the ownership he took under center today?
He did a great job. I mean, you know, and he was able to respond from a couple interceptions in the first half. We probably had 3 or 4 wideouts go down, and some other guys had to step up and go in there. And you know, you start to, sometimes you start to worry a little bit as how those guys are going to handle. They maybe haven't worked together as much. And I tell you what, they had a lot of confidence in each other, and they made some big plays.
How about the defense? What opportunities do they create for you?
Anytime somebody doesn't get across the goal line, it's a great day. And I would say that there's nothing better than those 2 stops in the red zone that caused field goals in the first half. Is really the difference in how this thing kind of is able to get to where it was, because if those aren't field goals, those are touchdowns. It's a much different ball game in the second half.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Wisconsin is 3-2 with a 52-6 win today.